So I'm cutting out the channels, or the pockets, I guess, for the pickups. This is where the P90 is going to sit. And most people use templates and a router, with a flush trim bit. I hate using routers. They scare the hell out of me. And it really doesn't take that long if you use a mallet and a sharp chisel. So I'll use a drill press. You can see there's some little spots from the bit. And I'll drill press most of this out, and then I'll come back and draw my lines and use a sharp chisel and clean up to each of those lines. And that's what I'm going to do here too, and for the control cavity. You just get more control, you go at it real easy. And then I'll fill these little spots, and I'll put paint, in black paint in here, just to make it all look real nice and pretty. But that's what I'm doing. It's real loud and there's a lot of banging, but you get a really good, clean, you get what you want, With a router, I have too many times I've gotten kickback, or I've gotten my depths wrong or something, and it's like it takes you too far to come back from if you do have a mistake. With this stuff, it's like if you screw up, you know what happened and you can just return to it. So here I've got the top P90 pocket, roughed out and square. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the humbucker pocket. So the way I do it is you put your flat side to the side that you want to keep, and then you just go in and notch out everywhere that I want to. That's the pocket I want to make. The drill press that I have is short, so these are the only two holes I could get out of it. So I'm going to have to use a chisel and bring everything down to this level. And then I'll put the pickup in here, and we'll kind of decide where. I'll try to use my drill press to put some holes in here for the side of the humbucker. The way this humbucker sits, I really don't want to have a gap here where the line on the bridge meets, but I have to have a channel big enough to house this mechanism that the spring is on. And so you know what, I'm going to go ahead and draw this out right now and just use my chisel and mark out those spots too. There we go. So I've got my outline, that should fit. You always end up skimming some more off the sides anyway. Just don't want to go any farther on the to the outer edges as I need to, because I don't want this this bridge to show. And this is the line I drew for the the outside of the bridge. So just keep cutting. So this is sort of the process. It's not like cutting down a tree. Go in a little bit here, in a little bit here, clean out your material, in a little bit. The grains are moving this way, so it's a lot easier to cut this way than against the grain. So I'm going to try to go back and forth as much as I can this way. But soon enough, this thing will be ready. And I got to do this one too. This scares me. These are a nightmare. So they have to be really deep, but there's so little error in where you can actually do these things. It looks really rough, but I had some chip out right here. Shouldn't be a problem. This side's fine. We didn't ever get outside of that line that we drew, so it should be okay. The pick guard's going to cover all of that. But there you go. It looks really rough right now, but it'll be clean before it's done. Alright, done a lot. The neck is really close to shaped. I do final shaping once it's on the guitar itself, just so I can get this area really clean, where the joint is. I've got the pretty little side dots in. I just use those, where are they? See these white or black little rods? You just put those in. So the neck's about done. I've got my headstock holes drilled. Everything looks good and lines up. I still need to build a truss rod cover, and I'm going to use some leftover pieces from this pick guard. And so the truss rod cover is going to look, it'll match the pick guard. For the body, I'm getting ready to install the jack. Tellies have, a flush mounted jack that's a little different. It's called an electro socket. I do something similar, but I use hardwood. So this guitar is going to be blue, but this jack is going to be purple and white, so it'll stand out. It's going to look really neat. And then to secure it, this plug fits really tight, and the jack will be inside of this. But here on the back side of the guitar, what I'll do is I'll put a screw that'll be flush with the body, and it'll go in, and I'm actually going to use a humbucker mounting screw that'll go in and you secure this in place. So it'll be a single screw right here. So if you want to, take my jacks out, you take that screw out, and then the whole unit comes out, and there's going to be wires that'll go into the control cavity, and then the pickups are going to come through here, and everything will be mounted here in the control cavity. Another problem I ran into is the plate that I have. The holes on this, I think they're in metric and they're not in whatever we use. So they don't fit these holes. These threads are too thick. So what I'm going to have to do is take this over to my drill press and hog it out. Hope that I don't chip the chrome enough that the washer will just cover it. And I've done this before, the washer will cover it. You never know. And I've got 2 of these just in case something bad happens. But once that's done, I can glue the neck and finish, do final sanding. I did the contours for the body. It's really comfortable. In another video I'll pull it off here and you can see. But this is where your thigh will meet, and it goes in a little bit, and the body carve feels really comfortable. I held the Tele and then I grabbed this guy just to see, and it feels really comfortable. It puts your hand right here when you rest on it. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So let me get to today's installment. So I use a Forstner bit, draw out the angle and where I feel like I want to contact this cavity, and then the trick is getting this plug to fit. This is kind of a nightmare. I build this from a board that I have of scrap, and first thing I do is I drill this hole that the jack actually fits into. Once I have this drilled, I mark out the diameter of the radius of this circle by using the actual Forstner bit. And then I use this Forstner bit to create this hole. So our cap will fit in here. And I like that it's two-toned, because what I'll do is you'll be able to know which side, how to realign this when you put it in, if you do take it out, to see where the screw goes. We'll have the Purple Heart going this way. And that way the screw goes into Purple Heart too, which is much harder than this maple. So now what I need to do is hog out wide enough space for the actual jack to fit in here. And it's a long jack, and so it's going to go to about there. And then I'll finish punching the hole through, so we'll have some wires for our ground and our hot to come out and attach to the jack. That really does it for this body. I need to do some final sanding, and the neck joint is still not sanded flush with the neck, but I gotta glue it first. But all the pickup cavities are deep enough. I need to paint them so that they're not so ugly. And then I need to extend this. Isn't quite long enough. I need to bring it over, another, I don't know, 1/4 inch to about right there, for room for the capacitors or the potentiometers. And I need to make this hole a little deeper so there's more room for the wiring. This also has to be a lot deeper because of the switch. The switch in this thing is going to be really deep. It's going to go all the way almost to the back. I'm kind of scared to hog it out, but I'll get to that today too. So we can see light. The jack fits good. I still need to sand it so that it's flush, but it'll fit tight right in there like that. It's It's really tight. I like that. I hate bad guitar jacks that come loose, and so I really try to make mine tight. See, I can't even get it out. Well, these cavities are good and deep. I extended this one so now the plate fits. So we're ready. I'm gonna probably glue the neck today, and then tomorrow we can really start, finish sanding it. Here's the back. You see these contours? They're gonna stand out like crazy once we get some color on this. But we're getting there.